name is Sean Butler. I'm farming here on Hillside Holistic Farm since I left school in 1976. My family have been farming here for at least 4 generations. My great-grandfather was here somewhere in this area. So I've grown up, I don't ever remember not being involved in farming. And I've been doing it directly myself since I left school. I spent a year in an agricultural college learning the proper ways to farm. I spent probably the last 20-25 years trying to unlearn a lot of that because of what I've discovered. The damage that I was doing farming the way I was taught how to farm. And I got very disillusioned with chemical conventional farming probably the end of the 90s, and I looked at organic farming. I went into that. I have slowly become a bit disillusioned with that as well. And in recent years, the last 2 or 3 years, I've stumbled into the whole area of regenerative agriculture. And that's what I'm trying to do now, to farm in a way that not only doesn't cause damage, but actually helps to regenerate the damage we've done, or repair the damage we've done.
Can you tell us a little bit then as well about what you're doing on the farm now?
Yeah,
well,
we also, we're social farmers. We have people come in once a week, usually from mental health problems or youth that have problems in school, that are finding school difficult, or not, school doesn't suit them. Don't like using the word they don't suit school. But
yeah.
I know I left school when I was 15, so school didn't suit me either, you know. So I would like to get more involved with that, but I also do a bit of energy healing work, and Helen does some coaching in that as well, and we do that here. So we have kind of diversified a little bit.
And so what were the main factors that led you down this route?
The factors that led me down the route of going organic and regenerative were, I could see, I was always interested in the environment and life around me, and I found that the way I was farming and the way I was taught how to farm and encouraged and paid to farm was causing huge destruction to air, water, soil, food, everything. And I could see it happening as I was doing it. And I was doing it because I wanted to be a good farmer, but I knew, there was a part of me that knew this isn't right. And for a long time I put that aside and said, well, this is the consequences of farming the way we have to farm. And then it just got to me that I can't keep doing that anymore. So I went organic. And while that is better, now I know there was something missing in that as well. Organic farming 20 years ago and more before that, was the people that were at it were kind of living a philosophy. They were living life differently, whereas organic farming now, to my way of looking at it, has just turned into non-chemical farming. But everything else is done as aggressively and as commercially, and as, you know, it's still causing destruction. Yeah. And some of the requirements and the rules for organic farming have been kind of relaxed a little bit in my time, from when I joined till now. So, and it was still causing soil degradation and damage, not as much as chemical conventional farming, but it is causing some. And I sort of stumbled into regenerative farming, and I would say from finding that, I found something I didn't know I was looking for, if you know what I mean. A way of doing it that can be beneficial to everything, that I can farm in a way that isn't exploitative at all, or very little, and it is also healing the soil, or not healing the soil, but allowing the soil to heal itself. It's helping the water cycle, it's helping the nutrient cycle, it's helping the energy cycle. It's just, and crops and animals are healthier and I would say they enjoy life more
Yeah,
than the one
they're
every
happier.
other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you meet any challenges along the way,
Um,
or are you still facing challenges when it comes to responsible farming?
the, as I said, the biggest problem I had was with me and my fear of doing things differently. And once I dealt with that and found ways to get around it, I was able to find out all I needed there. I was able to do things the way I wanted to do. I don't think there's ever been a time where I was regretting the fact that there wasn't someone I could find or something I could learn or whatever. That it's the fear of the change and the fear of, I suppose, the fear of change is
Fear of judgment
fear of
as well.
judgment, fear of being
Yeah.
rejected by the herd or by the flock
Yeah.
or whatever. It's an inbuilt fear
And you
in all
didn't
of us.
mind going on this journey as the discoverer, we'll say.
No, well, I mean, I love discovering, I love learning stuff.
Yeah.
So
You'd no one to follow, really.
I had people that had gone before me. I wasn't the first.
Yeah.
I was the first around the area, but
Okay.
there were plenty of other people that I could go and learn in courses and whatever else.
Brilliant.
Uh,
I suppose that brings us on to our next question. Do you think the education system or policy in Ireland supports this type of farming, responsible, regenerative and sustainable farming?
the mainstream, no. I think the colleges are still teaching more or less what I was being taught. The mainstream agricultural education people are focusing that way, and they're not. I don't think they're leading the field like they should be. There are other organisations, there are maybe groups that have come together that have done that and have filled that, and they are at the leading edge of bringing in new ideas and new people, and sort of educating people that want to be educated or want to learn. But I have to say the main sort of official training isn't what I would like it to be.
Yeah.
They tend to be sort of dragged along because this is the way it's going, rather than
It's the way we should be doing.
Going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what skills or competencies did you need, or would you recommend that those following in your footsteps have?
I suppose to find ways of getting over the fear and the fear of change. To me, I think that's the biggest hurdle. And I mean, now you have YouTube, you have all, 20 years ago, all of that wasn't there. You have such a vastness of possibilities out there and information, that you can learn a lot, and you can hear people talk, and you can watch things that have been doing. So I think it's easy enough once you find what you want to get, what you want to learn,
and have an open mind,
and have an open mind, and go to as much events. And one time I used to go to things to learn. Now I go to see who do I meet.
Yeah.
Network. Because it's at the. You can go to a course and you can learn a lot of stuff, but it's the breaks in between, or the coffee breaks, or the lunches or whatever, and you talk to other people that are doing different things, and you kind of get the energy from them to keep going, doing what you're doing, and it's a sort of a symbiotic thing. We're all feeding one another, the fact that we're doing it.
That's the whole theme of agroecology, basically. That's a community initiative. Yeah.
Yes, and I find with the regenerative stuff, we're sort of at the very beginning, and everyone is interested in sharing the knowledge. There's nobody trying to keep, well, I'll keep this for myself.
Yeah.
It's all a sort of big happy family.
Yeah,
it's a great place to go. It's great to get into it, because the vibe that comes and the energy comes from it is just amazing. And everyone is trying to help one another.
That's super.
Yeah.
Where do you see farming in Ireland in the future? What direction do you think it would go?
Well, I think it should be going in this direction. But I think the biggest step we could make as farmers is to come back to the realisation that what we're doing is producing food. I think we've lost that. And we're just producing a commodity that we sell for currency, and we go to spend it on something else. We're producing food. The evidence is there that we're producing poorer quality food every year that goes on. That's happening because of how we're managing our land. It's getting worse and worse. That has a knock-on effect on our health. It has a knock-on effect on the soil. It has a knock-on effect on water quality, on air quality, on virtually everything, biodiversity. Yeah. So I think if we could get back to the fact that we're producing food, and we need to produce the best quality food we can, and then look at the evidence to show what way we can produce that best quality food, and admit that we're making mistakes. We've caused untold damage.
Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, there seems to be a backlash against farmers from environmental people. We're only doing what we were taught to do. We were sort of forced into doing it sometimes, and we were paid hundreds of billions of euros and whatever currency you want to talk to actually encourage us to do it. We're still being paid to do things that are detrimental to the world around us. But we need to come back, and it's not our fault. It's what we were encouraged to do, and it's how we're managing our land. If we manage our land in a different way, we can change this. It's sort of mind-blowing how fast it can change if we actually do it. Yeah. And the evidence for all that is out there.
Brilliant. Thanks a million, Sean.